Hi, in this video, let's understand how autoscaling group works. And this is a new UI that is provided by AWS. You can always switch back to old console mode, or you could try this new UI. Let's go ahead with the new UI and figure out how it is done. So let's create autoscaling group. Let's name ASG 01. So before we go further, there are no launch configurations. You can either switch to launch configurations or you can switch to launch template. So launch templates are new way of launching instances. So let's go and create launch template. Let's name this launch template LT01. So this is not something mandatory. I would skip this. So you could take guidance and it would provide more information if you need. So you can select, let's for now let's take the guidance. You could select the Linux instances that you need. So it gives you different architecture based on architecture and all that. So let's go with instance type. So it says don't include the instance type for now. So I'm gonna go with VPC. We can select security group to say what kind of traffic comes and goes. So for now let me select security group 1. I've already selected, it's already pre-selected. I'm not going to change that. You could add tag, name as instance. Zero one instance all would be tagged as 01, or you could, I would say mostly ASG 01. You could tag volumes as well. Let's not do that as of now. You could add network interface or let it go, so it would create by default. So you could ask for request for spot instances, and lot of things are already selected. So if you want to add user data, you could do that as well. So I'm going to add the user data here. So I'm going to add the, let me not do this. I'm not going to get the metadata because there is already a variable. You could use that actually. So I'm going to say the host name, dollar host name. Okay, that's what this says, host names. I'm gonna push it. Okay, so I'm just creating a launch template here which would be used to create new instances. So you could create a plot fleet or create auto scaling group, launch instances from the template. Let's go and see the launch template. So instance type is not selected. Here you can also go and modify the template, but it would create a new template variant. So let's go and use this launch template. I would say latest version of the template. So instance type is not selected. So we are looking for combined purchase options. So you could go with 70-30% or lowest priced instances, or you could go with 100% on demand instances. I would go with primary instant type as T2 micro, because that's the free tier. T2 micro instance. So additional, this is the primary instance type. You can also add additional instance types. So let's not add any instant type here. Now the weight doesn't matter, otherwise you could have added weight as well. So I'm going with 100% on demand instances. T2 micro instance, and the network already selected VPC. Let's select the subnet and to launch in subnet A, availability zone A. So let's okay. So the subnet and security group belongs to different. So let's check whether it belongs to the same. Okay, doesn't belong to the okay, I think we should have changed it. Let's create subnets are there. I should have changed the template. Let me go and change. Let's create a new template for this. So modify template. Here I'm gonna select Amazon AMI Linux 1 instance, Linux instance, instant type. Let me mention the instant type to T2 micro. gonna select the key pair. Okay, I had selected 1A. Not sure why it didn't work last time. Okay, let me create. New version has been created. I'm going to pick the latest version. So it's already chosen. I'm going to go next. That's an on-demand. Let's say one on-demand instance. Okay, so basically could choose capacity optimized. Primary instance are T2 micro. Now I'm gonna go with more instances. Okay, I think it would give me the same error. So what I can see here is I have used a wrong VPC. Okay, now you can enable load balancing here. I would say elastic load balancer, and you could specify the target as well. You could do elastic load balancer can give us the health check. So the maximum capacity is 4 and desired capacity to start with, let's keep is 2. So are we using target tracking scaling policy? So this what happens with this is if you choose this, you could write the add more of the policies on CPU utilization or network or application request counts. So let's not do the target tracking as of now. You could also enable scaling in protection, which will stop you from scaling in for this instance. So let's not do that for now. Let's go next. Could add notification. I would say ASG-01. I'm sorry. Name. This is a complicated UI compared to the previous old UI. So we are using launch template and configuring all of this. So let's create auto scaling group now. So auto scaling group is successfully created. So 2 desired instances will be spinned up. Let's go and check the instances now. So two instances are coming online, and let's see the load balancers. It's ALB and the target group and the targets. You could see here there are two more instances being added here, and they are in initial state, and both are in availability zone A. Since it is still getting initialized, I'll change the name of this. It is getting launched now. So we don't have anything in launch configuration because we didn't use launch configuration. So what we used was launch template. So this is a new way of doing or launching the instances. Earlier, in launch configuration, we didn't have versions, and you couldn't set the latest or default version or something like that. So this is a new way of launching instances where you could maintain a different version of the templates. So with launch configuration, you had to come up with a new launch configuration altogether and change the launch configuration in ASG, auto scaling group. So that is handled with a new kind of launching instances, that is launch templates. Okay, so you could see there are two instances part of this desired to, and this would mainly be like fleet management. There are no scaling policies here. So this is basically a fleet management model. So let's go to instance and check how the instances are, or is it already up, or is it still initializing. So the instances are up and they are in private. I'm going to stop the earlier instance. Okay, so let's go back and check the new instances, how it works. Okay, let's see, to gateway. Okay, let's see how these instances are configured. Let's view the security group. Security group is configured to ELB. It is same as this D4A, DA4, I'm sorry. These are part of private subnets, though. I'm very sorry, public subnet. And okay, let's see the logs, how it has turned out to be. So there are some timeout errors which has happened, and it is not able to find the HTTPD, and it is not able to add the internal. So basically what it means is it was not able to successfully execute the scripts that we have added. So basically this script didn't work for that matter. Okay, so in any case, let's see how the auto scaling works. I'm gonna terminate this instance. So basically what should happen is, in this fleet management, as in when this instance stops, a new instance has to be brought up. So it will take few minutes to happen. Let's wait for it. What should happen now is auto scaling group should judge, or it should sense the termination of instance, and it should bring back a new instance immediately after the instance has shut down. So you can see that a new instance has already been initiated. The old instance was terminated. So the old instance is here, instance 1, which I terminated, and new instance was brought in. So I'm going to terminate another instance as well, and let's see how it behaves. So a new ASG 01 has to be brought in as well. So I'm going to change this name just to differentiate. So basically, using the launch templates, a new instance was brought in. It would have been great if the user data had worked, so we would have actually seen a different IP being seen on the screen, but nevertheless you could actually see how the instance are, as and when the instance is brought down, how the new instance are launched on the console itself. As you can see now, there's a new instance which is brought in. So basically ASG is maintaining the fleet, which we have set to 2 here in the ASG configuration. So if we go and change the fleet size, it would modify the number of instances that has to be launched. Let's see how it scales out. Now I've added 3 as the desired instances. A new instance, so there has to be 3 instances which has to be running. So it would take some time to launch another instance, because the changes that I've made in the ASG group has to be propagated, so it would take some time. So totally it says there can be 5 instances. So the cooldown period is 300, which is 5 minutes. So it would take 5 minutes to change the fleet size. So let's change this period to 10 seconds. Since we changed it 10 seconds, you could see another instance brought in. Now I would say 02, 03. Now the 3 instances are brought in. Now let's go quickly and play with this desired count. Let's go and change it back to 1 and see how it works. So I've set the desired count to 1, and within 10 seconds 2 instances will be brought down and only 1 would be running. I have named these instances to see how or which one would be terminated. I hope the changes I've done, I've saved it. I've saved it, and the default cooldown is 10 seconds. Not sure whether I've added any scale in protection. Let me quickly check the scale in protection whether I have enabled. So it is showing what is the number of instances which are running. So optional demand, on demand percentage desired capacity is 1. Okay, so there are it is waiting for 2 instances to drain out. Once it drains out, then your instances would be stopped. It is waiting for some cool off period. Let's see the activity here. So the description, it says ELB connection training. Okay. So basically use this scaling policy to create dynamic scaling or target tracking. You could see the instances. So now the two instances are in terminating state. You could, I think, go and check it now. Since two instances are still in terminating state, here it is not reflected. So let's not wait for it. It might take few more minutes to do that. So basically, let's wrap up how auto scaling group works. We saw how you could scale out and scale in. So you could see the instance being terminated here. So thank you for watching this.